Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Wholesale to Million. My name is Khang. So in this video, I'm going to answer one of our questions that one of our subscribers have asked, and that is, how do we wholesale a property with renters currently in there or squatter? Which mean people are not supposed to be in the property, not supposed to live at the property, and they're staying in there and they won't leave. So how do we wholesale property with current renter in there or squatter? So here it is. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because I gave you guys a video yesterday that was just super long, and I apologize for that. So anyways, so the answer to this question is you would do it just like a normal wholesale transaction. Now, there's two types of buyers that you got to understand. One of them will be okay with buying the property with the existing, whatever the existing situation is, which means if there's renter that is currently there, and if they're on a month-to-month, or maybe if they have a lease in place, that buyer would close on that deal. They would close on that property, and they will deal with whatever it is that needed to be done. Whether they have to give the renter notice after closing, they have to give the renter notice to vacate the property, or maybe they have to go through evictions to get the renter out of there or that squatter out of that property. All right, so they're more higher, so for them, they're okay with doing that. All right. Now, there's another type of buyers that would only buy the property, that would only close on the property unless that property is vacant. So if there's a renter in there or if there's a squatter in there, they want that property to be vacated a couple days prior to closing. All right, so that couple days allow them to go out there and view the property and walk through to make sure that the renter is completely out or that squatter is completely out of that property before they actually sign the final closing paperwork. All right. And so I'm gonna share with you a little story here, and this just recently came up on one of our deal, and that is the seller has a friend that he's renting out to, and at first he told us that he was okay with, hey, if we're gonna close on it, just let him know when. He'll be able to give his friend the notice to vacate the property prior to closing. All right, so he said that he was okay to do that. For some reason, so we got the buyer to go out there. The buyer walked through the property. He loves the location. He likes the property. The number works for him. Then we call the seller up. We let him know that, hey, go ahead and send out your notice to the renter. We're ready to get this thing closed. And for some reason, not sure what happened in between, but the seller told us that, well, he's not going to do that. He said that we are going to close on it, and our job is to go ahead and give that renter the notice. Because of the friendship and the relationship, he does not want to give his friend the notice to vacate the property. Well, we came back to our buyer and we told our buyer, well, you know, for us to for you guys to close on this deal, you guys have to take on the existing renter. And this buyer would not do it is because he already had an experience in the past, and he has a bad experience with the renter being in there, and he had to evict the renter, and it took him a couple months, and he's just not willing to take on that risk, even though this renter is on a month-to-month. All right, even though this renter is on a month-to-month, and this renter is willing to cooperate and you know, but the buyer, he had bad experience, so he just wouldn't do it. So we had to end up finding another buyer for this deal. All right, we end up having to find another buyer for this deal that is willing to take on the risk if he has to evict the renter and get the renter out there. If the renter decided, you know, after the 30 days, giving the notice and he has to vacate, he decided not to vacate the property, that buyer will have to now start the eviction process, which takes a couple months, and he's okay with doing that. All right, you guys? So there's two different types of buyers, and if you get the property under contract at a right price, and if you hustle and market that piece of property, you will be able to find a buyer for that property and for that situation. All right, you guys? Because every buyer, their risk tolerant is different. And some buyer would do it, some buyer would not do it. All right? And So you just have to be able to find the buyer that fits for that for that property, for that situation. All right, you guys. And some buyers, you know, so you want to make sure that whatever you communicate with the seller, if there's a renter in there, if they're on a month-to-month or how many months left they have in the lease, you want to communicate that over to your end buyer and make sure that you let them know and be upfront and let them know upfront what is going on, so that way you don't want to waste their time, so you don't want and you don't want to waste your time. All right, you guys, because some buyer will be okay, some buyer will not be okay with it, no matter what, no matter if the price is low, they just wouldn't do it. All right, so you want to let them know that up front. But a lot of times, like the situation that we just had, sometimes it just happens in the middle. The seller changed their mind, so you just have to, you know, obviously that deal doesn't work out with that buyers. You now just have to go out there and find another buyers that's willing to take on that responsibility after closing on the property. All right. So let me share with you another situations where the renter wouldn't. The reason why the seller is trying to sell it through an investor, because his renter was a mess and his renter wouldn't allow people to go in and view the property. All right. So he couldn't show his property because the renter wouldn't let anyone else in. So he told us that up front, and we're like, well, you know what? I think we might be able to find a way to get in there through the renter, but we want to do this deal with you. If we can't get in and view it, we'll be able to close on it. The seller's okay with it, and we told the seller, hey, you know, but you know, if we close on it, we still want you to go ahead and send the renter the notice, so that way they can start, packing up and so they can move out the property. Seller was okay. So anyways, so we got it locked up. I had to go and talk to the renter and gave the renter some money, so he would let us view the property. Okay. So we went there, and the renter wouldn't let us in. So we end up having to give him like $100. We end up having to give him $100 so he can let us view the property. We got the buyers there. The buyer did the walkthrough. We gave the renter the money. He let us go through, walk through. We said, hey, we're just gonna look at the property. We're just gonna look at some of the repair costs and what needed to be done. You know, and things like that. So he was able to let us do that because we gave him some money. Buyer went in, looked at it. Buyer's all good, ready to go on it. So we came back and we told the seller we're ready to move forward, close on it. Go ahead and send out your notice to the renter. He sent out his notice to the renter. This buyer, this buyer would only close on this property prior to the property being vacant. All right, so the property has to be vacant before he closed on this transaction. All right, before he sign the closing paperwork and buy this property. So we told the seller, go ahead and give the renter the notice. He gave the renter the notice. Now the renter seems to be very cooperative, and you know, a week before closing, he's telling us, yeah, you know, he's packing up and all that. He's almost done. 2 days before closing, the buyer came out there to walk through the property, make sure that the renter is out. You guys, it was so crazy. I got a phone call from the buyer, and the buyer said, well, Khang, the renter is standing in front of his house with a shotgun, and he wouldn't let anybody else in. And then within 5-10 minutes, he went inside the house. He pretty much boarded up the window, locked the front door, start changing the lock. So the buyer's like, well, you know, we can't close on it, you know, because the deal was, you know, that the property has to be vacant. So I said, well, you know what? Let me call the seller, see what's going on, and I'll get back to you. So I called up the seller. The seller said, well, he doesn't know what's going on. He thought the renter's already packing up and moving and already out already, so he doesn't know what is going on. So I said, well, you know what? Why don't you give me the renter's phone number and so I can talk to him. So I got the renter's phone number. I called the renter, start chatting with him. He said he has some issue with the existing owner, the seller, and you know, he said that, hey, he never told me about the selling the property, blah blah blah. He just got on and on and on. And after talking to him, I know that he was trying to get some money out of this deal. All right, he's trying to get some money out of this deal. So I said, hey, what is it going to cost me? I said, what is it going to cost us to get you out, so we can, so we can close on this, because we are the new owner of the property now. We haven't done anything to you. I know you have some issue with the old owner, but I'm sorry that happened. We haven't done anything with you. Please don't make it hard on us. We're just looking to acquire the property, fix it up, and move some nice family into the property. Could you help us out? And what is it gonna cost? You guys, in my mind, I was gonna pay him a $500 to $1,000 to vacate. But like I share with you guys, always ask the other person first of what they want. And he said, Khang, if you give me $200, I'll be out of here within an hour. So I said, so we were to give you $200, you'd be out in an hour. Is that correct? He said, yes. I said, I paused for a little bit. I said, done. We'll give you the $200 if you can be within an hour. I called the buyers. I said, hey, you guys want to get a new lock? We got to figure it out. So the renter wants $200 and he'll be out of there. So why don't you give him the $200, and then I'll make sure at the closing I'll reimburse you back the $200. Buyer was happy. Buyer was happy with it. Buyer's okay with it. Buyer went out there, met with the renter, gave him, I told the buyers to also bring an extra lock. They changed the lock, and everything like that. Oh my gosh. And then we got the deal done. So the buyer was happy with it. They went and signed the paperwork the next day and closed on that transaction. All right, you guys. So a lot of times with renter, you guys, money will solve the issue of getting them out of there. Okay. So that's why I share you guys the story, because this happened to us a couple times, and it's all about, that's why they call keys for money. That's a lot of times where the landlord uses the term keys for money, where they'll give the renter some money in exchange, them giving them the keys and them getting out of the property. All right, you guys. Sometimes if the renter has a couple months in the lease or so, that's what the new buyer would do, is they offer them some money just so they can vacate, so they can go in there and rehab the property. Now, so I just want to share with you the story so you guys understand. Sometimes, sometimes a little bit of money will help you solve the issue with the renter to get the deal done. And I just want to wrap this up really quick. So every buyer is different, all right? But there's two type of buyer. That's the one that willing to buy and close on it with the existing situation, whether the squatter or the renter's being in there. They'll close on it and they'll take care of it because the number works for them. The other buyer wants that property to be vacate before they will close on it, no matter what, because they are afraid of the whole situation where they have to go through the whole evictions and trying to get that renter out. It might cost them time and more money, all right? And they just don't want to deal with it, okay? So you just have to find the buyers the best fit for that deal and that situation, all right, you guys? And if you lock it up at a certain price, and if a certain price and a discounted price, I promise you, you hustle, you market, you will find that buyer for that property and for that situation. Okay, you guys? It really all comes down to is find the right buyer for that right piece of property and that situation. And if the price is right, you'll be able to find one. All right, you guys? Anyways, I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, drop me a comment and let me know. And for those of you who are new to the channel and who are looking to learn about wholesaling houses, you guys, hit that subscribe button. Let me share with you and teach you how to go out there and find motivated seller, how to negotiate with them, how to tie that property up under contract, and go out there, find the cash buyer that's willing to pay more for it. And all you're going to do is assign the contract over to them for a large profit without putting up any of your own cash. You don't need good credit or any construction background, and you don't need a license to be able to wholesale houses. All right, you guys? Now, for those of you who have subscribed to my channel, obviously, you guys, thank you so much to every single one of you. And if you like this video, don't be shy. Smash that like button. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.